Hey, Ricky, where have you been for the last 30 days not releasing videos? I don't know, like walking my dog. I beat Final Fantasy 16. Living my life. You want to talk about comic books or not? So I did. I took a little break from making comic book content on YouTube and just like caught up on some reading, played some video games, hung out with the family, and I reflected on the channel a little bit. And I realized I've made a ton of videos about like, hot takes on comic books and all sorts of stuff, but I haven't really been sharing like my collection itself. You can learn a lot about a person by what they collect in the comic book space. They cost a lot of money. If there's not a lot of information out there on them, you have to do that research yourself. So I wanted to go over the rarest books in my collection today and start like a new trend on this channel of like actually sharing what I've been amassing in my disgusting comic book closet over the last 4 years. So these are the top 5 rarest books in my collection. Number 5, I got really cheeky with this one. It became kind of a catch-all for a bunch of different types of books that I collect. And that is Vampiverse number 5, the Megan Hetrick Virgin Variant Cover K. My God, what a word salad I just had to dump on you. This book came out in 2002, and at the moment, there are currently only 2 books on the CGC census, and they're both 9.8. Yes, it is me, Ricky, from the future. Aww. What's the problem here? Well, you're me from the future, and you're still fat. True. Sucks to suck, nerd. But listen, I came from the future because I know for a fact that your later comic books show higher census numbers, yet they're lower on your list. Vampirella only has 2 issues, and later on there'll be stuff with like 25. Make that make sense, loser. Okay, well, he has a point. There will be other books on the census that are way, way higher than just 2, but this is kind of a cheeky catch-all for something I want to talk about. What do Taylor Swift tickets, Vampirella, and Nintendo games have in common? Manufactured scarcity. Manufactured scarcity is when a seller artificially creates demand by limiting the amount that they release to the market. So if Nintendo knows that they can make 1 million copies of a game and sell them all, they won't release all 1 million at once. They'll release 250,000 so that when you go into Target, you'll only see 1 or 2 on the shelf. Even though there will be new copies of the game coming out and it will be readily available, they'll make this artificial limitation so that people freak out and want to buy right away. And in the comic book space, we're used to this with things like variant covers, 1 in 25s and so on and so forth. But nobody does it better than Vampy do. Every book I'm showing you right here in this pile is at least a 500 or less print. That means for every thousands of Vampirella fans there are out there, there's only 500 or sometimes 250, 333, the numbers are always stupid, versions of these individual books to placate fans, creating this manufactured scarcity. And this Vampiverse number 5 book is no exception. This is honestly my favorite modern image of Vampirella. Like, look at the ninja outfit she's got, this kind of neo street punk right out of a cyberpunk game. The spray painted logo of hers on the background, the 3 cats that just look sick hanging out at her feet. I love this modern take on the outfit. I love the lollipop in her mouth. It's just a great comic. So the number 5 spot, although I am identifying this one as my rarest version because there's only 2 on the census, really Vampirella in general does rarity like nobody else. And so you could have 3, 4, 5 different Vampirella avid collectors in the room and no variant collection is going to look the same because it's all tailored to our individual taste. I know a lot of YouTube comic collector channels are the ones that say like, I'm not giving you financial advice or anything like that, but I do think there is a unique opportunity in some of these Vampirella books This one that I just showed you, for example, there's only 2 in the census, and at this moment in time, you can buy it through the Dynamite website. It's $50. It's coming straight from the distributor, which means like with CGC being wacky and giving out 9.9s and 10.0s like candy nowadays, I don't think you have a better chance of getting top at census than buying through them. Think of it this way. If you buy 2 of these books off Dynamite today and then send them in to CGC, you immediately own 50% of the entire census. That's kind of weird to me. Number 4. Spirou Comics is a Belgian comic series. It kind of reads like your Sunday Funnies. Every single page in this book is a different comic with a different story, and each and every week as the series continues, that one page will get added onto with another single page from the next comic. But in 1958, Spirou 1071, it features a continuing story about a prince and his plucky squire. Their kingdom gets overtaken by a traveling merchant with a magic flute that makes everybody lazy, and with everybody being lazy and not wanting to resist him, he takes over the entire country. The prince and his squire overhear this merchant talking about how he got a magic flute from the little people in the forest. So the prince, wanting to combat this spell, seeks out the little people of the forest and finds the Smurfs. This is the first appearance of the Smurfs. And at this point in time, there are only 24 on the census. And there's only 5 on eBay. I got mine a while ago for a little over $200, but if you want to buy a copy of this today, you're looking at multiple hundreds of dollars. Look, if you go to any Walmart or Target in the United States right now, you'll find some merchandise with the Smurfs on it. Most people don't even know it's a comic that got started. They usually think of the cartoon or the, Neil Patrick Harris movies, I guess. Number 3. In 1976, Godzilla's most recent movie at the time, Godzilla vs. Megalon, was being released in the United States. And as a promotion for the film, they gave out a single one-sheet comic. I mean, take a look at it. It's actually just one sheet. It almost looks like a centerfold. This is a prequel to the movie, kind of, just like setting up what the movie's going to be about. And this book is psychotically rare. At the time of this filming, there's only 10 of them on the census, and there's only 1 of them that I can find on eBay. And it's a graded copy, and they want $1,000 for it. I paid $300 for mine, and this is a hard book to ever price out because there's never any copies online. So if I took my copy right now and I threw it on eBay and I said, $600 for a raw copy, who can tell me I'm wrong? I'm the only guy with the raw copy out there. I'll say of the 2 copies I've seen sold on eBay since I got back to collecting in 2020, they've usually gone around $300. So that's what you should be looking to pay, but times change, man, and not everything's available all the time. Sidebar really quick. I've seen every Godzilla movie at least 3 times over the course of my life. I love the series and I love the character. But Godzilla vs. Megalon is legit the only movie in the entire series that I have to watch with my cell phone. It is so boring. Its big draw was that Toho Studios offered a contest to children in Japan to say, send us your designs for a character, we'll pick a winner, and then that character will be in the next Godzilla movie. And the winner was a little kid who submitted this drawing, and along with the title, Jet Jaguar. And so that became the other big good guy helping out Godzilla in the movie. Unfortunately, because of the popularity of that contest, the movie's become a bit of a time capsule to appease children in Japan who were excited that one of their own got a creation in this movie. So the movie has very little to do with Godzilla and mostly to do with these 2 uncles and their little kid nephew who invent this robot, and it sucks. God, this movie sucks. Number 2. In 1994, a group of artists got together to release a goth magazine. A magazine for goths. Featuring stuff like this lady. And then this guy doing stuff. Gross. And poetry and costumes for original content, do not steal characters. Weird. And so they created a magazine called Carpe Noctem, number 1. Carpe diem means seize the day, so Carpe Noctem, seize the night. Goths, you get it. Well, along with guys hanging themselves from ropes and bands that look like this, Carpe Noctem also wanted some comics in there too. So they worked with then unknown artist Yonan Vasquez, and he released a one-page sheet of Johnny the Homicidal Maniac. This is a nihilistic comedy character that really found his foothold in the 90s in a big way. If you're an old head like me and you were actively purchasing comic books in the 90s, you know who Johnny the Homicidal Maniac is. Or if you were a 2000s-year-old Hot Topic baby, you might have seen the trade paperbacks for Johnny in your local store. Or if you've never heard of Johnny at all and you had Nickelodeon in the 2000s, you might know its creator Yonan Vasquez in his other effort, Invader Zim. Regardless, this is a crazy rare book. There are only 3 of them on the census, meaning if I submitted my copy right here, I would immediately own 25% of the entire census. I've only ever seen this book go up for sale 3 times. One of them was me, and one of them went up for sale right after I bought mine. The 3 on the census are 9.8, 9.4, and a 9.2 signature series. So like, realistically, this isn't a well cared for or regarded book. So if you got it, you're probably going to be lowest on the census if you have like a 6 or something like that, like me. But who cares? It's still a piece of comic history and exceedingly rare. Number 1. Not only is this my most recent acquisition, not only is this the rarest book I own, but this is my second favorite comic book I own at all. Number 1's always going to be crypto, baby. The New Yorker is a cultural magazine that started in the 20s. Picture like a sophisticated magazine you'd have at the dentist's office. You could be reading one article about the latest fashion, a car ad, and then turn the page and learn about the upcoming war effort and this brand new guy named Hitler everybody's raving about. But throughout each and every one of their magazines, they had comic strips. These little blurbs, almost look like Far Side gags, all throughout the books. But on August 6th in 1938, a young artist named Charles Addams released the very first appearance of what we would come to know as the Addams family. This is the first appearance of Morticia Addams, a prototype of what I guess would be Gomez. We never see this character design again. And then up there in the stairs, that is a character that Charles Addams identifies as the Thing, although not the Thing we're used to, or the Thing we're used to. So no fooling. I literally have videos on my channel and on other people's channel where I talk about my collection of the Addams Family New Yorker books. I didn't even think this book existed. This is so rare, this book here, that unless you're seeing this image of me holding it or me on someone else's channel holding it, you don't see anyone holding this book online. It doesn't exist. For crying out loud, it's from 1938. This book came out in August, 2 months after Superman was invented. Superman was only 2 months old when this book hit the stands. And there are currently 0 on the census. So back in October, irrespective of any video game or movie property coming out, Burger King decided to release some menu items for the Addams family to celebrate the season. And this conversation really took place. I'm driving to Burger King, and my wife knows that I collect the Addams family stuff, and so she's placating me by, coming along with me to get this food. And she says, you've got all their first appearances, right? And I tell her everything I just told you, the age of the book, how it came out around the time of Superman. I said what I've been saying everywhere. Unless there's a file copy at the New Yorker somewhere, this book is probably lost to time. I think humanity doesn't have any copies of this left, and it's gone. Nobody was saving New Yorkers from the 1930s. And then, as if guided by fate itself, a 7-day auction appears on eBay, one that will end on Halloween night with this book. This is the first time I've ever seen it for sale live. I can only find 3 records of this book ever being sold online at all, and one of them was this last October. So I put in my secret bid of a really high number. I said 800 I was willing to pay. But the highest bid at the time that I put in was 560. I went walking in my neighborhood as the auction was coming to an end, and I was sweating bullets thinking like, I'm going to lose this book and I'm never going to see it again. It's never going to come up. I'm never going to complete my Addams Family collection. I'm the worst person who've ever lived. And I'm guessing it's because a bunch of suckers were out hanging out with their families. Losers. The auction never went any higher than my 560. After taxes, it was 600, and this baby came home, and I couldn't be more happy. So now I have the only collection of Addams Family New Yorker books on the entirety of the internet. I would love to have someone else come out and share their collection. That would be amazing, because then I could have some company on this lonely, lonely throne. So that's it. Those are the rarest books in my collection. I have so many rare books I want to share. I have so many more videos I want to do. It's just the holiday season sucks. It's hard because you've got family and obligations and stuff, but I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to still keep making content. I hope to see you next time. I'll show you some more books and we'll have some more fun. Love you. Bye.